Be turning to Titus chapter 2, if you would. Josh is gone to Memphis tonight, Casey. He will have 3 more Wednesday nights. I'm not sure the dates. Rick has one. Dave has one. And I guess maybe Don, do you have the 4th one? Okay, I don't know. We'll get him covered. I don't remember the dates. Tonight was my night, so we're just going to talk for a few minutes about living godly lives. And Carmen, I believe it's warmer in here, isn't it? Well, there was one of our sisters threatened to wear a bikini to every service unless we raised the temperature in the room. So I won't say who it was, but I feel like it's warmer in here. Apparently that worked. What is personal hygiene?
Being clean. Being clean.
Being clean. Personally. Each one of us. Now we can have a room full of clean people and one stinky person, and then the group is not clean, right? It's just like you put a rotten apple in a bushel. Eventually, all the apples around it are going to be rotten. Personal hygiene is my personal responsibility. What's personal fitness? Can you make me personally fit? No. Only I can make me personally fit. So what is personal godliness? Individual. It's the opposite. If you're out there in the benevolent building class, what we've talked about for the last 3 weeks, and I think next week was Calvinism and predestination. It's the opposite of Ephesians 1 and Romans 9, where it's talking about a group of people that's predestined. This is an individual that I can only take care of myself, and you can only take care of yourself. We can be stronger together, obviously. If you hang around with people that's trying to live right, you're more apt to live right than if you hang around with people that's not trying to live right. But if I had the top 10 things what Christianity needs today, and I made them up, so you can't tell me I'm wrong, and I can't tell you you're wrong. But I put number 1 as personal godliness, individual godliness. And there may be some just as important, but if I'm not a godly person, I'm not going to go to heaven. I didn't say if I'm not a perfect person, because none of us are perfect. But we all can be godly people. And if you want to know if you're a godly person, ask someone that will be honest with you. The closest person that you know that will be honest with you, and just ask them, do I live a godly life? Don't ask somebody that'll lie to you. Ask somebody that'll be honest with you. And then you'll know. That's the best way of knowing. Titus chapter 2, start in verse 11. For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation for all people, training us to renounce ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in the present age, waiting for our blessed hope, the appearing of the glory of our great God and Savior Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us to redeem us from all lawlessness, and to purify for himself a people for his own possession, who are zealous for good works. Declare these things, exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no one disregard you. What does it mean to be disregarded? Look down on you? Or don't even look at you. You don't exist. It's the same, I don't know how Titus was. Paul, in where is that at? In chapter 1 calls him his true child. So I'm assuming he was younger. But in Timothy, in 1 Timothy chapter 4, in verse 12, Paul said to Timothy, let no one despise your youth. So we know Timothy was a young man, and he was just warning him to be prepared, be extra prepared, because people are going to say, well, you're young, you don't know nothing. But do you have to be young to be disregarded? You can be 100 years old and start spewing off, or I can be 100 years old and start spewing off my religious opinions. If I'm not a godly person, what's going to happen? It's just going to go in one ear and out the other ear, because if I'm not living a godly life, you're just going to disregard anything I have to say, because I don't mind having a religious conversation or even a debate with someone if I know they're living what they believe. But if I know that this is just Sunday talk and Monday, I don't know what that was. I got my hearing aids in. Did anybody else get a beep, or is it just me? Just me, okay. That's annoying. What was I saying? Okay. If I'm not trying to live a Christian life, don't listen to anything I have to say. If you're not trying, I'm not talking about you're not perfect and you mess up, and we all do that. But if someone is not living a godly life, I don't really care to hear what they've got to say. I don't care their religious beliefs. You're not going to sway me with your fancy words if I know what you do Monday through Saturday isn't godly, because you're just a pretender. Personal godliness is not that person. Remember, I'm not talking about perfection. You can be godly without being perfect. Because walking in the light is, I've said before, is like that one light bulb in the room. If we had just one of these lights on, and the light would do this, probably with a different globe on it, it would be better. But we just have to stay in that light. That doesn't mean that we don't get out on the edge sometime, but our goal is to live a godly life is to stay in the light. Not be the center of the light, stay in the light. And I can be disregarded at whatever age I am, is what I'm getting at, if I'm not trying to live what I'm talking about. Not perfection. What are the benefits to being a godly person? Can you think of any benefits? Okay, it's Wednesday night. We're at Bible study. Most people here are tired, but you came anyway. Why did you come? What's the benefit to you coming tonight?
Heaven in the end.
Heaven in the end. What else?
Be strengthened by one another. To be strengthened.
Strengthened by one another? Okay. There are many, many benefits to living a godly life. Let's look at, just stay, if you're in 1 Timothy, if you went to there, stay in chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. Have nothing to do with irreverent, silly myths. Rather, train yourself for godliness. For while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. If we read in Titus 2, the first thing we read in, I guess it's 13, I think, and King James says that appearing, the glorious appearing. That's what we're hoping for. That's what Dennis is, heaven. heaven. Why do you try to live a good life? One reason is your eternal future. Does it say that living a godly life is going to make you famous, rich, poor? You could be any of those things and live a godly life, but it's not the reason. One doesn't happen because of the other one. Living a godly life, we have no promises to be comfortable in this world, but we have all the promises of the next world. And that's the future. But what about the present? If you're living a godly life and things aren't going good for you, for whatever reason, maybe there's a death in your family, maybe it's a financial problem, maybe it's mental health is broad, but we've all had those days when things just, nothing was going right. If I'm living a godly life, this says that will help me through that as well. The present and the future is helped if I'm trying to live a godly life. Of course, I have the strength that comes from above. Is that going to make all my days, what is it, glitter and lollipops? No, it's not. It's actually going to make some of your days worse, because if you live a godly life, it says you're going to have trials because of it. But we have the promise, the present and the future. That's a benefit. Stay in 1 Timothy and just go over 2 chapters to chapter 6. Verses 6 and 7. But godliness and contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. You come into the world naked and screaming, and you're probably going to leave the same way. But what does the first verse I read say that a godly life should give me? Contentment. Do you see that godly people are more content? Does everybody agree? I mean, people that are really trying to stay in that light. Everything's not going to go good for them. But do you see that contentment that comes with the promise? Yes. It's obvious. I don't know how people, some people go through terrible things happen to them in their life, and yet their faith just seems to get stronger. And now there's some things that I don't know how they do it, but that's truly a godly person when they're drawing strength from the life they're trying to live. That's a benefit. If the only thing you care about in the world is what's in your checking account, and I get 20 calls a day of somebody trying to scam me. At least 20 a day. What are they trying to do? Take the money out of my checking account. What if all you care about is your money? I don't know what the Norton, the antivirus thing, she's got us signed up for that. And every now and then you'll say, well, 69 people, we stopped 69 people from getting into your business. Those 69 people were trying to steal every bit of money that we had. And for those 69, there's probably another 100,000 that their whole goal is to take your money. What if that's all you have in this world? And then someone does take all your money. What do you got left? Nothing. A godly person may get all their money taken, but it's not going to be as devastating, because hopefully if we're a godly person, that's not going to be what rules our life, is our money. We wouldn't like that, mind you, but it's not what we live for, is our possessions and our money. 2 Peter chapter 1. I'll start reading in verse 5 and go through 11. For this reason, make every effort to supplement your faith with virtue knowledge, with knowledge, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with steadfastness, and steadfastness with godliness, and godliness with brotherly affection, and brotherly affection with love. For if these qualities are yours and are increasing, then they keep you from being ineffective or unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. For whoever lacks these qualities is so nearsighted that he is blind, having forgotten that he was cleansed from his former sins. Therefore, brothers, be all the more diligent to confirm your calling and election. For if you practice these qualities, you never fall. For in this way there will be richly provided for you an entrance into the eternal kingdom of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. What does it say about our vision in verse 9? Whoever lacks these qualities, what does it mean to be extremely nearsighted? Where can't you see if you're extremely nearsighted?
The big picture.
The big picture. What about that clock on the back of the wall? Is that right? Nearsighted, you can't see far off, right? Far side, you can't see close up. I've got both. These are in the middle, so I can't see either way. But if you're living a godly person, if you're living a godly life, heaven is the far off. That's what we can see. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're trying to push your family toward. That's why you're always giving advice. Hey, don't do this. Hey, do that. Your only goal is to get to heaven and take as many people with you as you can, because you can see afar off. Paul said that we're looking through like a dim glass or a cloudy glass in some versions. We don't see everything clearly because God knows I can't handle it. I couldn't handle what I could see. But what I can see is if I die today, where I'm going, the next breath is going to be in paradise. I can see that. And I have faith that that's going to happen. What if I'm not a godly person? What can I see? What's out there? Nothing. It's like an atheist. They can't see anything because they don't believe there's anything there. They're just like Rover. You're dead all over. So godliness is not, it could be, but it's not necessarily outward performances. What's a performance religiously? What would be your definition of that's way too open. You ever heard of praise hands or happy hands or, I'm not going down that rabbit hole, okay? But godliness is not me making a big show so you can see me look religious. Because I can have praise hands, and the same hands might tell somebody they're number one when they cut me off in traffic tomorrow. Am I a godly person? No. No matter what I did with my hands the day before to say I was praising God, or what I said, or the verses I quoted, if I'm not a godly person on Monday, I'm not a godly person on Sunday. I'm just pretending. So, and to open the door a little bit, yes, you're going to see you're going to see people that live godly lives. You are going to see them do good things. You are going to see them help other people. You are going to see them live out their faith. But not everybody that you see doing things are doing it for the right reason. They're doing it for selfish reasons. So it's not just what you can see with your eyes. It takes time. I'm looking at Steve and I'm looking at Rick. What did you think about Rick the first time you saw him, Steve? Don't ask that. Okay. Okay. I've heard you.
Question there.
You've told me what that before, but I won't tell everybody. Rick, what did you think about Steve the first time you saw him? Now, I'm going to say both of you were unsure, okay? Let's just be honest. Now, what do you think about each other? Over time, you have proven, both of you have proven to the other.
I respect him.
Yes. That's living it. And it don't happen overnight. Maybe you see somebody that's doing a good deed and say, oh, they're a godly person. And yes, you, for the next 30 or 40 years, you see them living it. Maybe you see them next week and they say, well, was this person at church? That's what we can't be. Yes, it does take time to get that respect. And that goes both ways. It takes time for you to watch me in my faith, hopefully to respect the life I'm living. And it takes time for me to watch you. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but there is a guarded expectation there. And that's only natural. I just picked you two because I know I can talk about both of you. But it takes time. And if it's those outward good deeds, maybe they're the real deal. I hope they are the real deal. But don't judge someone's godliness. And we're not the judge, I know that. But don't judge someone's godliness on the big show they put on. Let's see that life. Let's see.
Always mindful of, like, if I wear a Vacation Bible School shirt out somewhere that says Union Hill, I try to be mindful of that. I mean, not that I'm out doing a bunch of bad stuff, but I can make mistakes like anybody else. And if somebody sees that and they're like, oh, well, you know, and it stays on your mind though, which it should, but it should all the time. But you don't want to misrepresent the entire congregation because you sinned or messed up.
And you literally got it on your shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I can't go to Sam's anymore. Okay. That's a long story. What direction does a compass face? Compass, like, which way does it point? North. How come? That's where the North Star is? I'm not sure what the answer is. Why? I think it's some kind of magnetic pull. Yeah, and it's where the North Star is. I'm sure that's part of it.
It's constant.
But if you're lost, what would be the most priceless thing to have is a compass, because you can trust it. It's always, then you know if you're going the right direction or you're just walking in circles. A godly person, which way am I always facing? Towards God. No matter no matter where I'm at, or well, no, that's not true. No matter what situation I'm in, whether it's sorrow or whether it's joy, whatever it is, I can see if you're facing God, if you have a Godward attitude by the way you live your life. And I obviously, I can see you and you can see me. Yes, it takes time and people are going to make mistakes. Rick said nobody's perfect, but just the fact that you're mindful when you go in a place who you're representing is a good thing. But just like a compass, I can trust you that you're always thinking about God in whatever situation you're in. That's the definition of a godly person. Not a perfect person, but a godly person. Judgment let's look at Matthew chapter 16. We're getting close. Matthew chapter 16, and I'm going to read 4 verses right here because we're going to get the bell pretty quick. Judgment is not a group deal. Judgment is personal, individual judgment. For the verse 27 in Matthew chapter 16, for the Son of Man is going to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay each person according to what he has done. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 13, each one's work will become manifest, for the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed by fire, and fire will test what sort of work each one has done. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 10, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may receive what is due for what he has done in the body, whether it be good or evil. So, who's going to be standing before God? Your representative? Your preacher? Your spouse? Your mom? Your dad? Who's going to be standing before God on the day I'm to be judged? Me. And all y'all can be standing behind me, okay? And hopefully saying, yeah, he's good, let him in. What good is that? None. Encouraging, let's do that to each other here before judgment, but I'm going to be judged separate from you. You're going to be judged separate from everyone else, because the deeds I've done, whether good or evil. Now, what did Christ do for me, and what did Christ do for you? We talked about the robe. I think Josh talked about the robe last week. Without that robe on, I don't have a chance, okay? But I can walk out of that robe if I choose to. I can't get to heaven without it, but I can take it off. And my actions, my words, what I do will show you whether I'm trying to keep that robe on or I'm not. What are some enemies of godliness? What would be an enemy of you being personally godly? What do you look out for in your life? What do you try to avoid? The devil. Where does the devil? In the form of, give me one example. The devil takes many forms. The devil can take my form. The devil can take your form. Just looking.
I think with everybody it's different. Whatever's pulling you.
Your weakness.
Satan's going to use.
Yeah. He knows my weaknesses. He knows your weaknesses. But he can use the group of people you're in. That's why, everybody harps on. Hang around with good people. I don't care if you're 80 or you're 16. Hang around with good people. Because that's less likely the devil's going to be able to use one of them to pick out your weak spots. And Carmen and Rick both, the devil knows exactly what my weak spots are. Exactly. Psalms 10 and verse 4, the pride of his face, the wicked does not seek him. How many people's weakness is their pride? Be a bunch. If it was a percentage, we all have a aspect of pride in us. I mean, pride is good. I mean, pride can be good, but this is not what Psalms is talking about. pride, ego, arrogance. It says the wicked does not seek him. So if I'm more of a fan of myself than I am of God, who am I going to live my life according to? Me, and what I want and when I want it. Psalms 52, say in Psalms 52 and verse 7, see the man who would not make God his refuge, but trusted the abundance of his riches and sought refuge in his own destruction. Now, money is the root of the love of money. Did I just say money? You mean you can have money and go to heaven? But if that money is more important to me than God, what did that just become? My weak spot. And who did we say knows your weak spot? The devil knows your weak spot. It's obviously it wouldn't have been brought up biblically if that wasn't a dangerous topic. Is riches or the love of money. James chapter 4 and verse 4, you adulterous people, do you not know that the friendship with the world is enmity with God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. This is a adult Bible class. Would it be possible for me to be a friend of the world and still be in this class? It would. When we read verses like this, who do we think about? Who's the group of people that we just shiver when we think about it? It's our young ones, our young kids. You don't hang around with good people. Don't hang around. People, they'll lead you astray. That little boy, he's bad. Don't hang around with him. That little girl. Josh talked about his dating and bringing girls home mama didn't like. That can happen to us too. Raise your hand if you want to be liked or accepted. It's human nature. Now, don't raise your hand, but have you ever, with that in mind, felt yourself cross a line because you want to be accepted? And the old mission and commission, the old man used to preach it. That's a line. When have I not spoken up when I should have spoken up because I knew what was going to come with it? I shouldn't have said what needed to be said because I didn't want to be chastised by that group, or I didn't want to be that person. I don't care what age you are. We have to be on guard. If the devil said, if you're not for me, you're what? Or Jesus said, if you're not for me, you're what? Against me. There's no fence we can ride. And at an older age, adults, we're all adults in this class. We're still at the danger of kind of backing up. We've all been somewhere where something needed to be said and we didn't say it because, maybe we're not, it would make us friends of the world or whatever. We didn't stand up for what was right. We didn't stand up for somebody when the group was getting on them. We should have had their back. Why didn't we? Well, I didn't want everybody to get on me. I didn't want to be that guy. I just chose, when I did that, I just chose the world over God. Whether I was defending myself or defending someone else. A godly person is going to make mistakes, but a godly person leaves a trail. You leave a trail every day. You leave a trail behind you. What kind of trail do you leave? Is it a godly way? Or is it just according to how my day's going, whether I'm godly today? Thank y'all for coming. I guess we're ready, Jerry, whenever you're ready. Rick, have you got next week? Who's got next week?
Can't remember if it's next week or the week after.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's not me. That's all I know for sure.
Whenever I'm off